Hi there, and welcome to my local woods. Perfect timing. The water is boiling. It's a wonderful, beautiful morning. And thank you for clicking on my thumbnail and visiting me here in this beautiful landscape. Okay, let me get to the point. Christian nationalism. I have questions. Yeah, I know I'm wearing two hats, or rather, I'm wearing this hat here, and I'm wearing a woolen hat underneath because I'm fashionable. New hat, a feather. Yeah, raven feather. Okay. Christian nationalism. It's I think it's the idea that the USA is a Christian nation. It was founded on Christianity, that the Christian faith needs to be protected, and so on and so on. And that I believe also it's like Christianity should be like the foundation for laws and all of that. And I'm sure that some people in the comment section will let me know if I didn't get that correctly. Probably didn't. But I even though I'm not a Christian, I will say that Jesus is kind of matters, and it doesn't really matter here the historical context, or some people will say Jesus never existed. Some people will say everything about Jesus in the Bible is true, including walking on water and all of that. And I don't want to get into that discussion. It doesn't matter in this context. The concept of Jesus, the concept and the whole idea matters. And again, you'll have to forgive me, if I get this wrong, because not being a Christian, what do I know? But I would guess that if I had to pinpoint one word, the most important word in the teachings of Jesus, one word, I would guess that would be love. And please let me know if you think, if you're a Christian and you think that's wrong, that's the wrong answer. Please let me know. But in my simple pagan mind, Jesus, he was all about love, wasn't he? I mean, am I wrong? When I read about Jesus in the Bible, it's a story about self-sacrifice. Jesus is an immensely important and revolutionary figure, right? He would criticize without fear authority, and he would sit down and eat with sinners and the outcasts. He was all about forgiveness. He was all about kindness, selflessness, I think is the right word. And he didn't care about material wealth. And I think that Jesus is some people will be thinking now, what's he on about? Are you not a Norse pagan? Well, I am, I am. And if Jesus came walking through these woods, if he came walking through this woods. Well, actually, let's imagine that Jesus came walking through these woods and I was sitting here. And maybe he would ask me, what are you doing there? And I would say, not much. I'm just having a cup of coffee, talking to the ravens, checking on the badger den, taking a break from my busy life of not so busy. And I would say, when you're here, I have some questions, I have some questions. So please sit down, and wouldn't that be cool if Jesus came walking here through these woods and he sat down by my campfire? I think I would ask him. I would have asked him if Christian nationalism in the USA is really about the teachings of Jesus. I think I would have asked him, those pastors over there in the MAGA churches talking about God, getting very, very rich, having fancy cars, standing there in their suits and well-groomed, beardless faces. Are they following your teachings, or not? Or are they rather actually in the business of dancing around that golden calf? Because I have some issues, I have some problems with some of the statements coming from the new president in the United States. Now, I'm not going to be one of those people who hate on Trump for everything, because I think that's silly. But I have a problem with how they're trying to say that this is Christianity. We are so Christian now. And at the same time, they're doing things that I find not very Christian, not very kind and forgiving. You know what I'm saying? It's like these people, they come across as very judgmental, very much about themselves, enriching themselves. And the whole slogan, America First, isn't that a little bit, dare I say, anti-Christian? Because the Christian attitude would be love first. And a Christian person would say, well, we need to care and love for everyone, because that's what Jesus did. But again, what do I know? I'm just some guy out here in the woods. Now, don't get me wrong, I actually agree with many of the decisions and many of the things that are being done under Trump that should have been done a long time ago. The situation at the border to Mexico, that was obviously a problem. The whole insanity of the woke culture and the LGBT, actually not the first letters, but all the other stuff that they were adding. It got a little bit out of hand, didn't it? You'll have to excuse the smoke in front of the camera. But I do have a problem with this thing where they are trying to say that this is so Christian, because it seems to me that it's not forgiving. I mean, American policies now, it's not forgiving, it's not loving, it's not according to the teachings of Jesus, is it? But then again, I was in doubt whether I should talk about this, because I'll probably lose a few thousand subscribers again and all of that. But that's fine, you know. That's fine. I have to be honest with you guys, and I'll share your I'll share my opinions on these things, and you know. Yeah, I'll probably go and check on the badgers after I finish my cup of coffee. And by the way, if you're not subscribed to this channel, please consider doing so. I'll show you something cool. Can you see that? It's a bird's nest. I'm just looking for some dry tinder, but the fire is going, of course, so I don't really need it now, and I'll leave it. I'll leave that tree as it is, because maybe the birds will come back in the spring. You know, if Jesus was here, I would ask him about this thing where these Christian nationalists, it seems to me like they're all about me, you know, me first, and getting stinking rich. And I mean, there is this story where Jesus went into the temple, and he saw that they had commercialized the whole thing, so he started kicking over the tables, and he threw these people out, you know, the merchants and so on, if I remember correctly. So I would ask Jesus about this thing where these Christian nationalists are all about themselves first. At least that's what it looks like, you know. And isn't that quite anti-Christian? And if Jesus was here, I would ask him about, you know, again, you know, is this really about Christianity, what they're doing? Because actually, to me, it looks a lot like weaponizing faith. And that's what they did in, you know, here in Norway 1,000 years ago. Basically, they would come here and they would say, you know, this is my sword here, and I will chop your head off if you don't convert to Christianity. And it kind of goes like this: I have God on my side, and because I have God on my side, whatever I do for myself, whatever I choose to do, is God's will. And another thing that I have noticed, you know, I might be wrong here, but it seems to me like these Christian nationalists and Trump as well, they don't talk so much about Jesus, do they? They talk a lot about God, but not as much about Jesus. And if I'm correct there, then the next question would be, you know, why is that? Why is that? Maybe it's because Jesus has become a little bit too woke for them. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong there, but, you know, again, you know, if you read the Bible, the teachings of Jesus, it sort of goes against their agenda a little bit, doesn't it? So maybe it's a little bit inconvenient to mention the Son of God in the Christian faith.